All right, let's talk about high odds betting. That incredible feeling of turning a tiny bet into a massive win. But what if I told you it wasn't just about getting lucky? Today, we're going to break down how to flip the script and turn that gamble into a real, calculated strategy.
I mean, of course you have, right? That's the dream. That one perfect bet, the one that turns a couple of bucks into a life-changing amount of cash. It's why we love this stuff. But what if it didn't have to be just a dream or a total shot in the dark?
Exactly. The people who consistently win with high odds bets, they aren't just the luckiest people on earth. Nope. They're smart, they're disciplined, and they have a plan. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and look at their exact playbook. Okay, first things first. Before we can even think about winning, we have to be super clear on what high odds actually means. This isn't just a gut feeling. It really comes down to the numbers. So it's all about what we call implied probability. See, an odd of 2.00, that's basically a coin flip, a 50-50 shot. So anything higher than that, whether it's 2.10, 3.50, or a massive 10.00, well, that means the bookies think there's less than a 50% chance of it actually happening. The higher the odds, the lower the chance, but man, the bigger the reward. This little table here gives us a really clear framework. We're not just guessing anymore. As you can see, anything around 4.0 and up is what we'd firmly call high odds. That translates to a 25% chance of success or even less. Now, this is the zone where you can make some serious money, but it's also where you have to be the most careful. And this just lays it out perfectly. You've got two totally different paths a bettor can take. Low odds are all about slow and steady, racking up small, consistent wins. High odds, that's a whole different ballgame. It's about being patient and waiting for that one huge payout. You absolutely cannot approach them the same way. This requires a special mindset and a very, very specific plan. Okay, now we're getting to what is, honestly, the most important part of this whole thing, the staking plan. I'm telling you, without a rock-solid plan for managing your money, any high-odds strategy is pretty much toast. This is how you stay in the game long enough to actually hit those big wins. This is the absolute golden rule. You have to burn this into your brain. When you're betting on long shots, you are going to have losing streaks. It's a mathematical certainty. The key is having the discipline to stick to your plan, to not get emotional, and to never, ever start betting bigger just to chase what you've lost. Patience is your #1 weapon here. And of course, to put this plan into practice, if you are looking for a list of the best betting sites in your country with a 300% bonus, just search for betplace.us in your browser. Okay, let's see what this plan actually looks like in action. Look at this table. This shows the core principle right here. Just notice how the percentage of your bankroll you should bet drops like a rock as the odds get higher. For those low odds bets, yeah, you might risk 15%. But for the high odds stuff, the 4.00 and up, you're sticking a tiny, tiny fraction. And that's the number, the crucial point. Just half of 1% of your total bankroll. So if you've got $1,000 to play with, that's a $5 bet. It feels small, right? Almost insignificant. But this is what protects you. This discipline is what lets you ride out those inevitable cold streaks and still be in the game when that 10-1 underdog finally pulls off the upset. Okay, so the theory is great, but let's get practical. How do we actually apply this to the biggest betting market on the planet? Football. Hunting for high odds value isn't about just randomly picking the worst team on the schedule. It's about finding very specific situations where the favorite might just be a little bit vulnerable. So here are some classic scenarios to look for. Local derbies, they're pure chaos. Form just goes right out the window. Or think about motivation. A team fighting to avoid relegation at the end of the season has way more to play for than a team stuck in the middle of the table. And always check for last-minute injuries to a star player on the favorite's team. Any of these things can create a massive opportunity where the real odds are much better than what the bookie is offering. And look, these principles, they're not just for football. They apply to pretty much any sport you can think of. In fact, these strategies apply across different sports. And if you are looking for a list of the best betting sites in your country with a 300% bonus, just search for betplace.us in your browser. Now, let's take a quick look at how you can find value in basketball and tennis. In basketball, you're looking for fatigue. Is a top team playing its third game in 4 nights, all on the road? That is a classic spot for an upset. And a key player getting ruled out right before the game starts, that can totally swing the odds and create huge value if you're fast enough to jump on it.
And tennis, oh man, tennis is another gold mine for finding value. A player's favorite court surface is a huge deal. A clay court specialist might be a massive underdog on a grass court, and the other way around. Also, keep an eye out for fatigue. A top player who just barely survived a 5-set marathon could be super vulnerable in their very next match. It's all about finding these little edges, and that includes finding the right place to make your bets. So, one last time, if you are looking for a list of the best betting sites in your country with a 300% bonus, just search for betplace.us in your browser. All right, let's bring it all home. Phew, we've covered a ton of ground, so let's boil everything we've learned down to 5 simple golden rules. Think of this as your personal checklist for every single high odds bet you're thinking about making.
Number 1, control your stakes. Remember that 0.5% rule. It's your lifeline. 2, bet on singles. Please, don't ruin a great underdog pick by tying it into some crazy 5-team parlay. 3, always be hunting for value. 4, bet what you know. Stick to the sports and leagues you follow inside and out. And 5, treat every single bet, no matter how small, like a serious investment, not just a fun little lottery ticket.
So, after all of that, here's the real question you have to ask yourself. This strategy, it takes a ton of patience, incredible discipline, and a willingness to sit through some pretty long losing streaks. It's just not for everybody. So you have to be honest. Do you have the mindset to stick to the plan even when things aren't going your way?
And I just want to leave you with this final thought, because it's everything. At the end of the day, winning isn't about finding the biggest, craziest odds you can. It's about finding the best odds, the ones where you genuinely believe the true chance of something happening is better than what the price implies. That's the secret. Find the value, manage your risk, and trust me, the big wins will take care of themselves.